Other talk stations use words like savage. Sounds brutal. Hey, it's all good. Your superstation. AM 1050. News Talk KCAA.
I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah, sure.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
You're entering a world of pain. Whole world gone crazy!
I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms. Yeah, give away. Yeah, give away.
Let's get to it.
Cause I got nothing to do.
Nothing to do radio. This is Brian, and it is Friday. It is 5. You are off work, people. Pat yourself on the back. You're driving home now, sitting in traffic, wanting to punch the steering wheel or do what I normally do, which is break my gas station brand sunglasses onto my dashboard. But now I've realized that you just kind of have to accept it. It's just one of those things where you have to realize this is the beauty of the weather and what I have to deal with for that weather, which is what everyone tells me when they visit here. The traffic's bad, but the weather's great. That's the trade-off, people, so just deal with that cliche for now. Nothing to do radio, people. If you want to join in, jump on the phone and talk to me. It is 888-909-1050. We have some fun topics today. Today's topics, of course, we're going to be discussing, I guess would be apologies. Public apologies, more for that matter. I noticed a crazy trend, specifically with Twitter getting as big as it has been, Facebook and just really social networking, that a lot of more people are apologizing more than they used to. And we know it's fake. I think the people that are apologizing know it's fake, and the people that are forcing them to apologize know it's fake. So I want to know the validity. Why are they doing it then? What's the point of it? Are they really just trying to leech on and maybe get that person's message across through that famous person, like maybe Glad did through Tracy Morgan when Tracy said his anti-gay remarks, quote unquote, on a comedy stage, and Glad jumped on and said, we're going to go ahead and hold you captive for a few months, and when we're done with you, we'll let you go. So we got a couple stories that have a lot to do with apologies. I have the female voice, the voice of reason, as I call it, the lovely one that's going to go over these airwaves like so much of silk. Janice Morton, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? It's Friday.
Yeah, we got a lot of good emails and a lot of good feedback from your appearance last week. They liked where you came from, and it was a lot more softer and generally a lot more logical than I normally come across. For once, a woman arguing was less emotional than normal.
Thank you.
So yeah, the email is great. You guys keep sending those in, and go on the website nothingtoduradio.com. We got a great instant feedback feature where if you want to join the show and kind of become a part of the discussion and jump in with your opinions, you go into our chat room, give us your feedback, and we'll throw your name out on the show and acknowledge that you are listening and becoming a part of the Nothing to Do radio show. Rob, how you doing in the booth over there, buddy? It's all right.
I'm good. How about you?
I'm not too shabby.
Yeah. So I hear your girl got good feedback.
She did.
She did.
Yes, she got the emails from.
Well, I guess she's not your girl, she's the show's girl.
Yeah. Now I guess it's like, well, what did they do in the movie? That Thing You Do, where he got mad when they said that the guy was engaged because it destroys appeal. So let's say Janice, we have not been together 12 years. Let's throw out all those rumors. We have not been together since 5 days after 9/11. Which is 9/16/2001.
What a romantic time to get together.
It really was.
Yeah.
I look at it like through a whole cave of destruction, we somehow found love, and that's what we did. She was vulnerable, and I took advantage of it.
I'm Liv Tyler. I wasted thousands of tears on you.
Well, I just signed my new contract today, and I was dancing, going, "I quit, I quit, I quit," and then I signed anyways because our production director Bill. He has great charisma to get you to sign. But before the apology stories that we got from these two celebrities, and I don't even know if I want to say celebrities. Again, with the Twitterverse now, you don't really have to have much talent. You just have to have either a lot of money. That's the thing I've noticed we focused a lot about the last few years. If you got a lot of money, if you're in that 1%, you become a vocal point for a variety of social issues. I mean, look at Chick-fil-A. No one knew. I don't even remember his name. The CEO and owner of Chick-fil-A, no one knew who he was. They just knew that you could get your choice of cheese on your chicken sandwich. And they asked him, what do you feel about traditional marriage compared to gay marriage? And he gave his answer, and look at that firestorm that caused. But the two people we're going to be discussing today is Pat Robertson, the ever so controversial Pat Robertson, and the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO, Mike Jeffries. They both had some apologies that they've been, going on the warpath with.
Is it Abercrombie?
How do you say it? I've never shopped there. My belly prevents me from getting in there. Is it Abercrombie or Aber?
Abercrombie and Fitch.
That's how little I know about mall shopping.
Yeah, because you don't shop in there, do you?
Right, and we're also next to the one mall that has 0 retail stores in it, so I don't see a lot of, if you want to get your nails done and get some good Chinese food, you come to the Carousel Mall.
Not a lot of good-looking people coming in.
Yeah, a few good weaves. But I wanted to actually talk about, I got lost, as many of us do, yesterday. I realize now I've been driving the same route to work for years now, and I still, every so often when I hit that nice chunk of traffic, I always want to get off and somehow discover a new way home that no one else knows, that's going to be completely empty. And, of course, that never happens. And more often than not, you get lost.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and I did get lost, and I, for once, actually wanted to ask somebody for directions.
What?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I don't think that happens too often.
Really, I tell you all the time when we're driving, hey, Brian, maybe you should ask for some directions. Oh, no, never. I know my way.
That's what men do. Don't you know what stand-up comics talk about? That's what men do. We're not supposed to ask for directions.
But why?
I don't know. I think it's just an ego masculine thing. We always have to act like we're in complete control, and if we show you any of our chinks in our armor, it'll show our vulnerability. But I did ask someone, and it was somebody at a gas station that was near the air and water pump. So I thought, this person works here. They probably know the area. And he looked normal enough. And when I went to I pulled up, and I asked him, I said, hey, do you know how to get back to the freeway? There was a few seconds of non-response, but his eyes stayed fixed on mine. And I asked again, and I said, do you know how to get back to the 210? And he stayed staring at me and then gave kind of a look around like he was looking for someone, that there was no chance someone was there. We were in the middle of the parking lot. And I quickly realized that he was mentally retarded. And I have to say, the Down syndrome folk.
I believe that's mentally disabled.
Is that what it is?
Something
No,
like that.
I think there's a difference.
You can't say mentally retarded.
The Down syndrome folks, they got a distinct look to them. They got they have the junior high Korean kid haircut. They all have it. The Mo Howard, as we call it. So you can tell from a distance, I'm not going to be asking this person how to cook jambalaya or directions to get back to the 210. This dude looked normal. I was the one who was angry about it, and I know you guys are offended. I was angry that he made me feel that uncomfortable, because do you ever
how dare he?
Do you know that feeling when you're asking someone something, and as they're staring at you, you quickly realize this dude's a little slow,
or they don't speak English,
or
right?
they don't speak English. But them they normally.
Wait, which decision did you arrive to first? Or did the language barrier even cross your mind?
That's another thing with the mentally, what was it, disturbed?
Disturbed?
No,
Disabled.
No, that's
technically you're the mentally disturbed.
I'm not going to deny that.
He was mentally disabled.
Or mentally challenged.
You know, you might be right. That's probably it. They need to wear shirts with specific signs on them. Maybe not even, they don't have to say anything, just a certain color that kind of lets you know.
No, Brian.
You know how certain frogs in the wild have certain colors on their back that let you know that, they let you know they're poisonous.
Tattoo on the wrist or something.
I like that. That sounds a little Hitlerish.
That's what I thought you were going with this.
I think Hitler was going with that.
Thin the herd.
Oh my God!
Now we're gonna make them get tattoos. Now we're gonna put needles on them to identify them as mentally challenged.
Yes, because then I can avoid that 15 seconds of uncomfortableness when I realize not only can this person not help me, but for some reason I'm in a worse spot now, because now I don't know who to. And now I'm confused with who to ask. I don't know who to trust.
How about the next person, Brian?
Well, I don't know if I want to ask the person who hired this guy, because I think he might be a little dumber.
Sorry.
Dumber.
And I noticed in his cup of noodles he was putting in the water that you fill up to keep your car cool. He was by the little water air tank, and he was putting it into his cup of noodles. And I said, A, it's cold, and B, it's probably not that sanitary.
That should have been it right there. I mean, that should have been
Hey, whatever
sign.
works, man.
So
water's water, right?
Can we take a vote that I'm a bad person? Can we just get that over with? This has nothing to do with Brian. Now you can realize why the show is called Nothing to Do with Brian, because all this show wants to do is have nothing to do with me. It wants to somehow grow a brain and do the show completely without me. But you guys have been there, and this is kind of my point, too, into the apologies that we get from these public folk, is we all think these things. You guys aren't ever going to say that if you go into a Wendy's and there's somebody maybe with the bowl haircut cutting up your fries, you might be a little nervous about eating those fries. No one here is going to tell me they're not a little nervous about it. They may not say it to thousands of people like my dumbass just did, but some people will be a little like, oh, these people, I think, in the public eye end up saying things that most of us probably talk about over a beer with friends. You do. They're just doing it on such a larger scale that it's more shocking. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely the case with Mike Jeffries with Abercrombie and Fitch, where he basically said, we market to good-looking people. That's why we have – dude, I went in Abercrombie and Fitch with you. They're great-looking 20-year-old kids with their shirts off folding shirts.
And right when you walk in, there's this huge mural on the wall of like a half-naked guy. You know, with his shirt off, totally fit, very attractive, making you want to come into the store.
Right.
So, I mean, their whole that's everything about Abercrombie and Fitch. You want good-looking people to come in there, so they attract good-looking people.
So this is what the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch is apologizing for. He said it 6 years ago. When he was being interviewed, and I don't think it's that out of line. I just think it's out of line because it's something that you're seeing, and now you can kind of attack that person to, I don't know, feel better about yourself and make it seem like you're a bleeding heart. But we all think this, and this is what he said. He said this to Salon Magazine. I have no idea what Salon Magazine is.
I have no idea.
No. He said, sex appeal is almost everything. That's why we hire good-looking people in our stores, because good-looking people attract other good-looking people, and we want to market to cool, good-looking people. We don't market to anyone other than that. In every school, there are the cool and the popular kids, and then there are the not-so-cool kids. Candidly, we go after the cool kids. I don't know if it's so candidly if you're talking about an interview, but we go after the attractive, all-American kid with a great attitude and a lot of friends. A lot of people don't belong in our clothes, and they can't belong. Are we exclusionary? Absolutely. I'm feeling, and he's complaining, of course, saying that's out of context. I don't know how out of context it is. That's a pretty good chunk. You know, a line or two out of context, you can kind of argue that, but a whole paragraph, I don't know any other way to take that. But
did they mince words?
I don't think they can in a direct quote. It seems like the only thing that's that bad is the last part there. All the rest, it's like it's crazy to hear, but that's how it's always been. There's always going to be popular people. There's always going to be not so popular people for whatever reasons. I knew that when I was in high school, I was a good-looking kid with a great personality, but I had zero money. I had zero cars. I had to take the bus my senior year. I was one of those idiots, and I knew that if in order to to attract certain folks or to hang out with certain people, I had to bring something else other than to the table, other than I have a pool in my backyard, or we can go to Havasu on the weekend and use my parents' boat. That's always going to be that way. That's society.
Wait a minute, and there are stores that that cater to people who are not the typical popular kids. What are they, Brian? Remember that one in the Tyler Mall? I know for sure there's Torrid.
Hot Topic?
Hot Topic. There's Torrid.
But that seems like that. Hot Topic almost seems like it's forced. I don't know, forced awkwardness, where it's kind of a Marilyn Manson thing, where it's like I don't, even if you don't really like his music, you saying that you kind of dig him kind of gives you your acceptance kind of in your own little I don't know, in your own little clique. Some people want to be different, you know. Some people find coolness in being different.
I'm just saying we have the stores for the popular people,
yes,
and then we have the stores for the not so popular people. Why is he getting so much flack for that? I don't.
And honestly, I don't even think he's just because you can be popular in different ways. I mean, if you're on the football team, you don't have to necessarily be an Abercrombie and Fitch model. You can just be a 300-pound Samoan and still be at every party and still be pretty popular because you do something that is regularly recognized, and you kind of automatically have that thing going for you. I had a friend in high school that he did a couple commercials, and they were popular commercials. He did like a Starbucks commercial. I think he was in the original Santa Claus. He had zero personality. He's kind of a good-looking guy, but he automatically, first day of high school, in freshman year, he was able to hang out with the seniors because he had that one little thing that people could regularly point to and go, "This is what makes you, a part of the Funky Bunch," which is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a Mark Wahlberg.
Well, I'm just gonna say some cool stuff here. Turns out that babies actually spend more time staring at pictures of symmetric individuals than they do at photos of asymmetrical individuals. So our preference for beauty or attractiveness dates back to infancy. Literally.
Then why are you so obsessed with Ryan Gosling? Ryan Gosling has a lazy eye and he has a crooked face. He looks like Shannon Doherty but less violent.
I completely disagree with you. And it's his personality, too.
His personality? He probably has no personality. The only personality he knows is what was written for him. That's his personality.
No,
somebody wrote his personality for him.
He's a great actor. He's so cute, like little boyish, but he's also a man. I agree. I completely disagree with you. I think his face is actually very symmetrical.
Whatever. But let's go to somebody who has actually been proven scientifically, probably similar to the study you just read, where babies took more time looking at symmetrical faces. Mm-hmm. There was a study done on celebrities, good-looking celebrities, on what made them so good-looking. And Denzel Washington, I think they did like 100 celebrities, his face was the most symmetrical. His ears, were perfectly aligned with each other. His eyes were the certain amount of distance from his mouth. Yeah, you're right. Biologically, we like attractive things, and I know people will go, well, you go to Africa and there's a certain amount of I still think that we're always biologically our bodies want, or our I don't know if it's necessarily our bodies, but we want to procreate with someone who will give us healthy offspring, and that tends to be people who aren't, don't have diabetic bags under their eyes and kind of look like they'd be a good mate. We have that going for us.
Darwinism. Is that what you're talking about?
Could be Darwinism, sure.
That's where it originates from.
So Mike Jeffries, again, the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, is saying this is who we market to. We market to the attractive folk. We market to the cool folk. Which, by the way, I got to say, that's pretty ballsy of a move. That'd be like me coming on the radio and going, if you guys like cool stuff. If you guys like the hip stuff, that's the only listeners I want to have. That's pretty ballsy to say, and honestly, kind of be right. I don't shop in Abercrombie and Fitch mainly because it's never really. It's not even so much a looks reason or anything. Even though my belly wouldn't go good with the folding the clothes. I do want to do that bit once. Just go in there, take off my shirt, and start folding clothes, and see how quick before I get thrown out of the store.
I have to be honest.
Flabbercrombie and Fitch.
I don't even feel like I belong in that store.
We've went in there a few times.
I have shopped there. I have clothes from there. But when I go in there, actually, as a woman. The skirts are super
I didn't even know they had female clothes.
Of course they do. They have female and male clothes. The skirts are really short. The shorts are really, really short. So not only are they just advertising to good-looking people, they're also advertising to a very young audience.
And it's definitely also a coastal store. It's for California. I mean, I remember the time we did go in together. There was like a security cam footage of the Huntington Pier.
That's Hollister.
Oh, well, yep. Hollister is actually another good example then of the same brand.
Right, and same thing, same exact thing, almost exactly like Abercrombie and Fitch. Mm. They had the models in there that were naked. Or not naked,
whoa,
sorry, whoa.
Where was this?
I wish they were. They had the models in there folding clothes that had their shirts off.
Right.
So you're thinking of that store. Abercrombie, pretty much the same thing. But Hollister has a live feed of the ocean. Just streaming, on these huge screens in their store, which is, I think, is pretty cool.
I think a lot, when you kind of look at it economic standpoint with not only just clothing but products, they always say market as broad as possible. What I'm doing here, what we're doing on radio is broadcasting. I don't want to maybe come across as too conservative. I don't want to come across as too liberal. I don't want to come across as too agnostic, too religious. You kind of want to keep things open and broad so that you can attract as large of an audience as possible. This is the opposite that actually I think works just as well. You find a niche.
Hollister, Abercrombie, they have this kind of this cool niche, this southern kind of this SoCal relaxed beach bum vibe, and then that's all they push. And it sometimes makes the marketing even easier. Forget all the other stuff. We don't need the 45-year-old African American mother of 3, which I want to get into with how they market to African Americans, which not a lot of people talk about. They're not marketing to that. They're saying we're marketing to young. I don't even know if it's necessarily rich, young, good-looking people who look good with their shirts off, who like to surf rather than study, and kind of a life as a beach type of a way.
Popular kids.
Yeah.
Well.
Hipsters.
I
hate them.
Oh God. You know what's annoying with hipsters is they'll go to Hot Topic, buy some stuff, then they'll go to Hollister, then they'll go to the Nike store, and then they'll put on all 3 different sets to try to originalize their look.
And they title it with "It's ironic." Ugh. That's what they say for everything.
I hate how I see them on razors now, because razors were cool, then they weren't, and now of course they're rocking them because now they're not cool.
I live all the way in OC, and they're everywhere.
Are they attacking Orange County?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I go to Cal State Fullerton, or work at Cal State Fullerton, and they're everywhere.
Why do women like those guys? I mean, it even goes back to the emo kind of thing. When did women start liking these bony thin? If a biker hit on you in the bar, they wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
I'll tell you why. Women use a lot of money to buy clothing. If they date a hipster, they don't have to buy pants. Because they just borrow the guy's pants.
Oh.
Because they're all wearing the same size pants.
Yeah.
These tight, extremely tight, how does anything breathe pants.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing I hate about them.
Do you still sag, Rob?
I'd never sagged ever because I don't want to have to, if I need to run, I don't want to hold my belt loop. But I do wear baggier. It breathes around
that style will never go away with me. I don't sag, but I still, Janice will probably know.
Yeah.
It's halfway down my butt. And
I like when you wear sort of tapered jeans that fit you, so I can see your legs, because I think your legs are really nice. But I do not.
Just shaved them this morning.
But you don't want them as tight as what you would wear, right?
No, never. I would never think that that's attractive. And I see all of these young guys around campus dressing like that, and it looks ridiculous.
But when I mentioned about how places like Abercrombie and Fitch don't market to the 45-year-old African American woman or black woman, I can say we're an edgy show. Black show with 3. The reason I brought up that was you'll never see FUBU marketed to the same Abercrombie and Fitch kids. FUBU stands for us, by us, almost an arrogant way that not a lot of people really bring up about saying this is for a specific group, and I agree with them. I'm not upset about it. I'm not sitting there going, well, FUBU should make a statement if Abercrombie and Fitch is making a statement. I remember for almost every year for my birthday for 5 years, my mother got me, what was it, South Pole or North Pole?
Who knows?
North Pole, generally a very African-American brand of clothing. And they weren't bad jeans. I do notice with black clothes, though, there's a lot more logos.
She remembers when you were a wigger? Can I say that?
I think you can say that, yeah.
Without the R, it's a wigga.
That is true. And without a W in place of an N, it's all right. Well,
I would like the audience to know that Brian was a wigga.
I played basketball. That's another thing that I like to say that was really... Black people love Wheel of Fortune. No, that's not Wheel of Fortune. That's Price is Right.
Yeah,
God,
good job.
Horrible.
Let's play that one again.
Get it together.
I played basketball. That's all I did. And there was certain clothes I wore for, like, windbreakers. Do you remember windbreaker pants? I would wear those because those not only matched the group of people I hung out with, which tend to be
rip them off really
African-American,
fast?
very quickly. If the coach needed me.
Like, babe?
Yes.
You need me.
But FUBU is marketed to black people. Abercrombie and Fitch is marketed to young, wealthy, white, popular kids. There's no problem with that, I don't see. I don't see with people trying to hit a niche market and saying, this is who I want. We have religious shows on KCAA. Are they trying to – well, maybe they would say they're trying to market atheists because they're trying to change them and be born again. But the non-PC side of it is most of the time clothing people want to kind of preach to the choir. They want to market to the people who will buy their stuff, you know. And this guy who, honestly, the only thing I have against him is he's a very unattractive guy. He looks like Scott Shannon. You know who Scott Shannon is, right? From Scott and Todd. He's been around for 30 years. I think he created the Morning Zoo.
He's scary looking.
Yes, he looks like the Rock Eater from Neverending Story.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's a bobblehead.
That's pretty bad.
He's a bobblehead bastard. But that's probably the only thing I have to say against him is that he's not the most attractive guy. So it's almost like the nerdy guy who becomes a writer in Hollywood and all he does is write about these superheroes because that's kind of how he fantasizes about himself. That's maybe what this guy's doing. But other than that, I think we all kind of realize that. I mean, look, if you see a really heavy girl wearing a BB shirt, or if you see a really fat chick in Victoria's Secrets, you're not only.
Fit.
Do you think the managers? Yeah, it doesn't fit. They probably look horrible in it, and it makes you kind of giggle. The manager? Do you really think if the manager, the owner of Victoria's Secrets, came down and saw Precious about to go into the dressing room to try on a few garters? You really think he'd be that excited? In his head, he'd probably go, "You're really hurting my brand." And you're hurting the band on your underwear.
Can't we just embrace attractiveness? I mean, I don't see what the problem is with that.
Because most people aren't attractive.
I know they aren't, but what's wrong with us embracing it?
Because
for those that are.
Same thing. Back to the geeks who became writers in Hollywood. They have this fantasy in their head that they were beaten up by the popular kids, that constantly they were being bullied and picked on, and so they have to become this voice for the little person, the voice of the people that they think were the majority, the nerds and stuff. When in actuality, most of the popular kids, they were really just stuck in their own stuff. They were worried about what are they going to do Friday, when are they going to get laid, when are they going to score the next touchdown.
Yeah, we all had our own problems.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, that's a great point. A lot of popular kids I talked with, they weren't really the happiest folks. Bad things about the popular people is they didn't have the personality that you normally get from having to make friends based off stuff that you can't give that person. You can't give that person a fun time in Vegas because their family has a timeshare. Or timeshare, is that what rich people have? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a rich person, not from a rich family. Neither is Janice. We both have come from humble abodes. But we kind of touched on a lot of different groups. I played varsity basketball, and I also was not in the drama club, but I was in 3 or 4 plays in high school because I kind of took my interest and was able to, I don't know, dabble in different people. And I do realize, I got to be honest, those people that did hang out on the stairs and were the choir and the drama people, they did have the better personalities. But I probably wouldn't date those girls because, A, they weren't that attractive, and B, they had some weird issues. The funnest part was the choir drama girls that were attractive, and you were like, why don't you just skip the drama club this year and go for the cheerleading squad? But they had something in them that kind of kept them from wanting to do that, and I
was with the popular group.
Yeah, were you?
Mm-hmm.
She was with a group. This is literally why the group of girls were popular at her school, because they all wore the same black fly sunglasses. That's sometimes what makes you popular. If you got nice blonde hair, and you're cute, and you can do a cake stand for at least 5 seconds.
Oh yeah.
And you got some black fly sunglasses, then you automatically you're popular in your school.
We were called the Fly Girls. Black flies, fly girls.
It's a living color. Isn't that a living color? Is that what Rosie Perez and Jennifer Lopez were in? But I realize that we do all believe what CEO Mike Jeffries of Abercrombie and Fitch said. I think that when you're walking down the street and you see someone who is ridiculously heavy, old, and they're wearing something that is not weight or age appropriate, you think in your head, honestly, start shopping at Target.
Yeah. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I think that there's nothing wrong with him marketing to a specific group of people, because he's getting that group of people to come into his store. Bottom line, he is.
Yeah, so right now what they're saying, I love about their public apologies too, is they say you have to apologize, and then they make fun of him and go, well, this is just a PR move. He's only apologizing because of course he is. How are you going to complain about him doing a non-meaningful apology? When I grew up, I always was told, don't say sorry unless you really mean it. Now we're completely in a society where we just want to hear the sorry. We just want to hear you beg. We want to hear you crawl and say, a lot of people say, oh, I'm not a spokesperson. All I am is this, but I feel that my opinion did hurt a few people, and why are we even listening to this if it doesn't matter?
The unattractive people are requiring an apology, Brian.
No, you know what the funny part is? I think the attractive people are hitting them up on this too. The same reason that when a bunch of people are going up against someone who said something a little bit racist, it's usually rich, privileged white people who are telling him to apologize for the racist comment. It's normally not black people. No, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Nothing to do radio. This was our first segment. We got another apology coming up from the one, the only, the controversial, Pat Robertson. If you want to join in the fun, 888-909-1050. We'll be back right after this. Nothing to do radio.
Whoa.
I got nothing to do.
I hope you're enjoying the show, but how'd you like to capitalize on this here fine program? Nothing to Do is currently interested in new advertisers. If you have an online or local business and are interested in increasing your customers, then how about getting some ad time on a popular radio show? Go to nothingtoduradio.com for details on how you can get involved with the show. 30-second commercial spots, live reads, Twitter and Facebook shout-outs, and premium ad space on our website, all for a ridiculously low price. Again, if you're looking to advertise, go to nothingtoduradio.com and let's get started with you supporting a great show and getting people in the door.
The other station claims to be local. Since when is Glendale local? KCAA News Talk 1050, your true local station.
Looking for a great place to really get away? A place with pine trees that stretch up to a deep blue sky. A place to just sit and breathe in fresh mountain air. Or a place where you can go
Biking,
Boating,
water sliding,
skiing,
fishing,
hiking,
golfing,
horseback riding,
bowling,
windsurfing,
off-roading,
parasailing,
go-karting,
canoeing,
ziplining,
and more.
Either way, the place for you is Golden Bear Cottages in Big Bear. Golden Bear Cottages features 28 one-of-a-kind cabins with up to 7 bedrooms available. They even have pet-friendly cabins with fenced yards for your furry family friends. Just go to goldenbear.net. Again, goldenbear.net and see for yourself. Golden Bear Cottages in Big Bear. Check them out at goldenbear.net. That's goldenbear.net.
KCAA.
Nothing to do radio. We are back. Folks, this is KCAA 1050 AM. Fridays at 5. You got this wonderful show to keep you company on your drive. That almost rhymed.
and you got me.
And we got Janice over here. She's giving the female lighter perspective, even though sometimes you do get a little controversial. I remember last week you said that Travis Alexander, the dude who was murdered by Jody Arias, that he kind of deserved it because he wanted the booty calls to keep going.
Yeah.
So you can get a little controversial.
Yeah, I like to be controversial. It's okay.
She's crazy. You hear that voice, folks? That's the voice that Travis heard right before the stabbing in the shower. 888-909-1050. Call up. We're talking about public apologies and why we crave them from public figures. Even if they're completely, what's the word I'm looking for?
Genuine?
Genuine. For some reason, I don't know the word genuine. Such a hack.
Go figure.
NothingToDoRadio.com, too, by the way, guys. If you want to go on there, we got some really great social outlets. We got chat rooms if you want to give us some instant feedback, join in on the fun, the conversation. We got actually a few folks in the chat room right now that you guys start talking. I know you guys are viewing. There's going to be no webcams, no naked chicks dancing for you. Is that why you're just hanging out? That's not going to happen yet. I haven't talked Janice into that currently.
Next time.
Yes,
Next time, yeah?
Maybe. When I start paying you. She'll start
Please,
dancing. You guys start giving her some tokens. She'll start dancing for you.
Start talking to us. Tell me to take off something. I will.
Yes. So, again, 888-909-1050. We're going to be talking right now about Pat Robertson. What do we know about Pat Robertson? Well, he is, of course, I guess the correct term would be from my side, a Bible thumper. Someone who takes religion and doesn't necessarily just do it to better his life. Those are the type of religious people that not only myself, who is typically on the fence about religion, but people who are completely opposed to religion. If you just take your ideology of a greater good or a greater God and use that to better your life, not a lot of people have issues with that, I've realized. Even the most hardcore atheists I know, if you really use it and don't shout it with a bullhorn constantly in their face, and you just really are a better person, and you can tell when you have issues that most people dwell on, you kind of just give it up to that source and you don't bug everybody about why you're having a bad day.
honestly, people don't really bug you about it, and people don't really they can attack you with it because it's working for you.
Mm-hmm. And those people that just sort of have that glow about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have family members that are like that.
I have family members who, honestly, I do talk with people who have interacted with them who aren't religious, say, I want to know what makes them the way they are. They are always happy. There's never – I'm not going to say there's never a mistake in their life, but anything that happens, it's kind of accepted and realized this is how it's supposed to be.
And they surround themselves with those who are less fortunate or are experiencing some sort of tragedy in their lives. I've noticed that your family members will just locate themselves around them.
Yeah.
And talk to them. And that's special.
Yeah, they don't just try to preach, like we were talking about earlier, how a lot of these companies are just trying to market one market and they're only preaching to the choir. A lot of the good Christians that I know, they do tend to go outside of the already converted, and they try to talk with people who maybe need a little bit of saving. Some people, it could be, I know a lot of my family deal with ex-drug dealers, or not drug users, I should say, probably drug dealers too, ex-gang members, people who, for whatever reason, I don't want to say this word because religious people hate when I say this word, but they use it as a crutch, which isn't necessarily always a horrible thing. They can, a lot of people use heroin as a crutch, or they use cocaine, or they use beating the hell out of their wife as a crutch, or dismissing their kids and saying, well, once I become rich, I can go back and take care of them, but for now I'm just going to leave them alone, and then they end up never taking care of their kids. And so they use denial as a crutch. Using religion as that crutch, and I know there's probably another word for it. Rob, what's the other word? You're a little bit of a religious person, correct?
Correct.
All right. So what's a better word? Because I don't want to use crutch. What's a better word, would you say? In empowerment?
Quite honestly, I've been trying to look up this Pat Robertson thing, so I'm not exactly sure what it is you guys were talking about.
We're going off on one of our many rants. All right, we can get back to even Pat Robertson, because I already know if I start on my family can be a 2-week straight 240 to 500 hour episode, and then religion on top of it.
Do you want me to? Because I was looking it up just to get the clip. Do you want that or no?
There's a clip of it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. You can play the clip.
I don't have it yet. But.
Yeah. Keep looking for it. But Pat Robertson right now, of course, as many of his former follies, he has created controversy before with stuff that he has said. We can start back as late as the 1970s. This is how long this dude has been in our lives. And you guys know who Pat Robertson is, of course. He's hosted the 700 Club, I think, over 30 years. And he's a religious folk. He's a lot like Jim Bakker. And who's the guy that I kind of like? Who's Joel Osteen. I actually really do like Joel Osteen.
Oh, he's annoying.
His voice is a little bit of annoying, and his wife is a little bit.
They're too perfect.
Her eyes are a little piercing. They're too perfect, but. What makes them perfect? That's what kind of attracts you. Like, I'm not really listening to what they say necessarily, like their philosophies, but it does interest you because they seem really, really happy. They seem like they're have a great marriage, that they not only have great conservative values that you can respect, such as, economic reasons,
maybe they're using
free market and things like that.
Maybe they're using that as a crutch.
Yeah, and I don't even know. Crutches tend to have a negative
connotation.
That's why I have her here, folks. I was so close to saying condensation.
Jeez. No, you're saying that, they look like they have the most perfect marriage. They're very religious people. They inspire others.
Yes.
But honestly, they're too perfect. So to others, they kind of look at them and say, I could never be like that.
See, this is a good example of it. Let's say you're walking in a mall and you see a couple who is in their 70s or 80s holding hands. Maybe she's got her head on his shoulder. And you kind of know that this isn't a new marriage that they got. This is something they've worked on for 40 years. You want to know, how did they get there? It's something that you kind of respect, and you go, I don't really even care what it is. I don't care what the secret is. I just want to know, how can I be that?
Great. Perfect point. But
thank you. I am known as perfect.
They have to appear as looking perfect because of their religion. That's different. That's different. So we look at them and say, oh, they're a perfect couple. They have to appear that way, Brian.
Few of the things that Pat Robertson has said. In the late 70s, he said, as a lot of religious people have said, the doomsday was coming. 1982, Pat Robertson predicted that the end of the world
was coming in October or November. God seems to be a little bit vague, but October or November 1982, in a 1980 broadcast of the 700 Club. God, this thing's been around for a long time. He says, I guarantee you by the end of 1982, there's going to be a judgment on the world. We're still here, I'd say.
I was born in 1983.
Okay,
I'm good.
Our parents were getting this threat, and our parents were getting this threat, and I think we got this threat a few times the past few years, and that never came to be. So the bad part that comes with people like Pat Robertson is he's not speaking for himself. He's not saying, this is my opinion based on my collection of evidence and studies. I feel that the end of the world will be in 1982. He says, and this is Pat Robertson's main thing that has gotten him so much attention these 35 years, God is telling me the world will guaranteed end in 1982.
What else is God telling him, Brian?
Well, he said that there was going to be a Bush landslide over John Kerry in 2004. As most of us know, that was one of the closest races since we've started the presidential campaign, which is going on about, 180 years? Mm-hmm. He said that there was going to be a huge tsunami that was going to hit America in 2006. That didn't happen. He also said there was going to be a major terrorist attack in January 2nd, 2007. He said before the end of 2007, there was going to be mass killings that was going to be during the year of 07. That never came to be. And when they asked why would God tell you this and then it not happen, he has a nice little out, which he said, all I can think is that somehow the people of God prayed and God in his mercy spared us.
That's always the answer. Everyone prayed.
That's what's beautiful about religious people and psychics, by the way. Or not only just psychics that you go and see with the crystal ball, but the people that are in the audience and they can kind of call out and say, hey, I'm feeling a C. Is someone who starts with a C? Is there a C here? See, Christopher? Okay, Christopher was your father? I feel like he was related to you. Was he wasn't your father? He was grandfather? Okay, father was in there. Someone was telling me father, so grandfather. They always have an out.
Yeah.
They always have a way to kind of escape their little dilemma that they might have put themselves in. And Pat Robertson was gone about that. I don't think we really have had any major terrorist attacks since 9/11. We had the Boston bombing, but that was 3 people died. It was horrible, but I wouldn't consider that as he put it, mass killings.
But now he's attacking marriages and what men do when why men cheat on their wives.
Now he's doing what I feel is the main thing that Christians or people in religious outfits do, is they make God seem like he's Tom Likas. They make God seem like he is not holy, but just another dude. And he starts giving his opinion as a man, but then saying it's from God. And that's when people start to go, no, this is your opinion. And this can even go into the same vein as what we were talking about with the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. It is a lot of what he said is what a lot of people kind of think. Men sometimes cheat simply because they're men. A lot of people say that men are only as good as their opportunity. If you put me and you have been together for 12 years. I've never cheated. I've never really wanted to cheat. I went through my late teens and 20s with you. Been happy as a clam, as they say. But if they put two 19-year-old Brazilian strippers in front of me, would I still have that? Would I still just kind of? I'd still be in love with you. It would have nothing to do with you, but would I still go? All right, 5 minutes. Let me have 5 minutes with these two.
5 minutes. Okay, so Pat Robertson, is that his name?
Yes.
Okay, he's basically saying, or he said to a woman that, or she was complaining about her husband.
She wrote in a letter, the same way as they do with the Ask Ann Landers and all that type of stuff, where she wrote in a letter to him that they had been in counseling, her and her husband, because he had cheated on her.
Okay, and he was basically saying, does he provide for you? Does he put a roof over your head? Is he good with your kids? Yes, he is. Okay, then you better forget about that, and you better move on.
He kind of did what the Muslim point of view, where it's like, he's the man, he's the woman, he can get away with certain things. You better stay in line, woman. You better walk 5 feet behind him, and you better, if you get raped, you better have 15 witnesses, because otherwise that's adultery. He kind of went a little extreme with it. I don't even think he technically went Christian with it. I think he went man with it. So this is almost exactly what he said. Or this is exactly what he said. This is what he said on his 700 Club program too. So you guys, if you think, oh, this is just another agnostic throwing out his point of view and trying to infect our brains on our radio, he said this on the 700 Club. So you can check this out. Pat Robertson said males have a tendency to wander a bit, and what you want to do is make it the home so wonderful that he doesn't want to wander.
I get that.
We get that. Rob, do you get that?
Yeah.
I get what he's saying. My analogy that I always say is I have friends who have gotten cheated on by their wives, and it's always my friends who keep their chicks on lockdown. They can't go out with their girlfriends. If they're wearing anything shorter than their knee, they're not letting them out of the house. They give them, they give them all that hell, and it's like keeping a dog chained up constantly in your house. You never take him out on walks. You constantly keep him chained up, and then the second you open that door one time, the dog bolts out.
But let's talk about it from a woman's perspective.
Oh, do we have to?
Brian.
I have to bring the man view into here. If the woman's about to talk, I got to burp and let everybody know I'm the man talking here on Nothing to Do Radio.
I have a real man that's given. I agree with that, and I know it's an extreme way of approaching this situation.
It seems simple, but okay.
Okay, simple but extreme for people to hear. It's
for people to hear. I think that's the point.
Yes. We've been in a relationship for 12 years. I would say that I would have to keep things interesting, and I would have to keep you wanting to come home to a nice house.
Ironically, that's why I bought the Catholic schoolgirl outfits. That's weird. We're talking about the yes.
No, Brian, I had the Catholic schoolgirl outfits.
She did. Why'd you have those already, by the way?
I'm sorry, what?
Yep. She never went to Catholic school, so I'm surprised why she just came home with those one day.
I had them.
You questioned it?
No. It was an outfit.
I was drunk and passed out. I could not have questioned it.
It was an outfit that I used to. This is bad, but I used to wear like a little plaid skirt.
Yes, she did.
Top. Yeah, and I used to go out to clubs and dance with my girlfriends like that.
Why'd you have to say that part?
Because we used to do things.
And you killed it.
I'm too lax. No, but her girlfriends would then go home afterwards and have a little prayer circle.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it was a real prayer circle, actually. There's no joke there.
We did themes.
Bible study.
We did themes every time we would go out, one of which was Catholic schoolgirl.
And Coke. Go ahead.
Anyways, I would agree that you have to keep it very interesting. When you have a long relationship, when you've been with someone as long as we have been together, and you have to keep it very interesting, or the man is going to lose interest. And I know I'm going to lose a lot of people there. A lot of women are going to say, that's ridiculous.
I think women know it, but then they sit there and they get on their high horse and they say, that's ridiculous. Men should be as complicated as us.
No.
We should no. This is what men and women are opposite in this way. Women want constant tinkering, like they're an engine of a Rolls Royce. They want constant checks, and they want to make sure their valves are perfect, and they want to make sure that they are running smooth. Men are the opposite. Don't mess with our engines. Just don't mess with us. Just just let us know daily. Everything's cool. Everything's running smooth. Relax.
Wait. I think your exact words were, feed me, give me something to drink, satisfy me, and don't talk so much.
Yeah, it was feed me, F me. Give me a drink here and there, and don't talk. And it's not even so don't talk. I love talking with women. That's the thing. Women always think that men hate. They would rather have a mute woman. No, we don't want a woman that constantly complains and nags in our ear. The same reason we wouldn't want to live with one of our bosses or managers, because they constantly would keep us under their toenail and saying, every time you step out of line, I'm gonna hark on you for it.
No, you need a personality to grow with, someone to talk with.
Yeah. My example was if you're tripping on acid, if you're tripping bad on acid and you need someone to talk them down, you need someone to talk you down who will let you know everything's going to be okay. You don't have to worry. This is temporary. Who do you want that to be? And if your girlfriend or your wife is not the answer, if that's a person who would actually make your trip worse and you delve further into that hole and you'd never be able to come out of it without brain damage because they freaked you out so bad, then you're with the wrong person. Then the girl's not doing the right things.
And Brian taught me well. He told me that that's the person I needed to be for him. Just that exact scenario.
It's that simple.
And I knew he would be for me, so I had to learn how to be that for him.
If I ever come home and I'm freaking out on some trippy drugs, and I need someone to let me know everything's going to be okay, that's who she is, and that's why I've been with her for 12 years. And I'm not getting arrogant about it. I'm letting women know it's that simple. It really is that simple. Don't complicate things. Don't make men fear that they're going to go home to another puzzle. They already have their puzzle at work. They already have their puzzle outside of the home. When they come home, it's a safe house. They want to know that things are going to be okay, that you're their partner, not their adversary. And I know we kind of went off the Pat Robertson thing because, honestly, I don't really care what Pat Robertson says. I think he's honestly doing this on purpose to maybe get a little bit of heat because he's 30 years out of the mix. No one really cares what he's saying. But it goes back to simple as this. Men are simple. Women can tend to be a little bit more complicated. But you guys just be cool to each other. Make it fun to be around. That's it.
Oh, I love you, Brian.
I love you too. Nothing to do radio. This is what it was. This is what it will continue to be. I just saw my new contract today. My dad just got out of surgery also yesterday. Got all the cancer removed. He's doing great. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Love you.
See ya.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.